Hello, and welcome to another lesson from Level Up Mathematics. In today's lesson, we will be exploring how to graph a linear relationship. Before we do that, let's look at the steps that are going to be needed to graph a linear equation in slope-intercept form. So to do this, the first thing we want to do is identify the slope of the line and identify the y-intercept of the line. After we've done that, we will plot the y-intercept on the coordinate grid. And then we'll use the slope, which is the same thing as rise over run, to find any additional points on the line. So in example 1, it says for each equation shown below, identify its slope, y-intercept, and then graph on the same grid. So in problem A, our equation is in slope-intercept form, y equals 2/3 x plus 6. So as a reminder from our previous lesson, the slope is the coefficient of x. So in this problem, our slope is going to be 2/3. The y-intercept was the constant term, in other words, the term without a variable. So in this problem, our y-intercept is 0.6. Now, the reason that y-intercept is so important is that's going to represent our beginning point on the line. So to graph it, I will come over here on this grid, and I'm going to go on the y-axis to 0.6, and I'm going to put a point. Once I have that point, I need at least one more additional point to form a straight line. Now, to find that additional point, I'm going to use the slope. Now, the top number is your rise. If it's positive, that means you're going to move your pencil up 2 units. Okay. On the bottom number, we're going to go to the right 3 units. So from this point of 0.6, I will go up 1, 2, that's a rise of 2, and then over 1, 2, 3. That's a run of 3. Once I've done that, I'm going to land on this point. And then I'll connect these with a straight line. So that's the graph of y equals 2/3 x plus 6. Now, the second problem, problem B, we're also going to put on this coordinate grid. But let's go through these steps again. Our first thing is we want to identify the slope. So that's the coefficient of x. And that's a 2. And then our y-intercept, which is our constant term, is 0.1. So remember, we're always going to begin with the y-intercept, and that's at 0.1. And we want to use the slope to find an additional point. Now, the problem with our slope in this problem is we have a top number, but not a bottom number. So when your slope is a whole number, I highly suggest putting it over a 1, because that's going to help you figure out your rise over your run. So we have a positive 2, which means move up 2, and a positive 1, which means move to the right 1. So from this point of 0.1, I will move up 2, 1, 2, and then I'll move over 1, and I'll land right here. Now I will connect these points. So we're going to have a line looking something like that. So this line was y equals 2x plus 1. And this line up here was y equals 2/3 x plus 6. Pause the video and think about why y equals 2x plus 1 is steeper than y equals 2/3 x plus 6. All right, did you have a chance to think about it? So in y equals 2x plus 1, our slope is larger than 2/3. The 2 is bigger than 2/3. So when we have a larger slope, we're going to get a steeper line. Something to keep in mind for future lessons. All right. Let's look at example 2, and let's talk about some negative slopes now. So in example 2, for each equation shown, identify the slope and the y-intercept, and then graph on the same grid. So we have y equals negative 3/4 x plus 6. So our slope is negative 3/4. Now, here it's shown where the negative is in the middle. I like to put the negative on the top number. You can put it on the top or the bottom, but I always put it on the top number. Okay, and then the y-intercept we have is 0, 6. So I'm going to start my line at 0, 6, put a dot, and then I want to talk about my slope. My top number is now negative. So instead of moving up 3, we will move our pencil down 3. Our 4 is a positive 4, so it'll still go to the right 4. All right, so from this dot, I want to move 1, 2, 3 down, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 over, and that's where my new point will be. So I went down 3 to the right 4. All right, so let me draw that. Something like that. All right, let me grab a different color now. All right, in our next equation, we have y equals negative 2x plus 10. So our slope is negative 2. Our y-intercept, 0, 10. So my beginning point will be up here at 0, 10. And again, we have a situation where our slope is not a fraction. So when that happens, remember, just put it over a 1. So my top number is negative. That means I'll move down 2 units. My bottom number is positive, so that means I'll move to the right 1. All right, so from 10, I'll go down to 1, 2, so negative 2, and to the right 1, so positive 1. And this line is going to go something like that. All right, in example 3, it says graph each linear equation in the space provided. So in problem A, we have y equals 3x minus 2. So let's start by identifying the slope, or m, and our slope is 3, positive 3. So it's not a fraction, so I'm going to put it over a 1. Okay. Our y-intercept, or b, the beginning point, 0, negative 2. All right, remember, we're going to start on the y-axis. So make sure, let me shade in this y-axis. Make sure that when you start, you always start on the y-axis. Okay, that's one of the most common mistakes I see people make, is they do not start on the y-axis. So if I start on the y-axis, I'm going to put a point at 0, negative 2. Now my slope is 3 over 1, so 3 is positive, so that means up 3. The 1 is positive, so that means right 1. So from here I'll go 1, 2, 3, positive 3, and then to the right 1, positive 1. So my new dot is right here. And then I want to make this line go all the way through the grid. So something like that. All right, problem B. Y equals negative x. So let's start with our slope. The slope is the coefficient of x, so that would be negative 1. Remember to make it a fraction if it's not already a fraction, so negative 1 over 1. And then our beginning point, basically, we don't have one here, so it's an understood 0, 0. All right, so I'm going to put a dot at 0, 0. Now for my slope, my top number is negative, so that moves down 1. My bottom number is positive, so right 1. So from here, go down 1, negative 1, and to the right 1. There. So this line, I want to, again, extend it all the way through the grid. So something like that. Okay. Make sure you're extending your line all the way through your grid as straight as you can. All right. Problem C. Our slope is negative 3/4. You can put the negative on the top or the bottom. It doesn't matter, but you can only put it one place. So I like to put it on the top number. And then our y-intercept, 0, positive 1. All right, so let's place our y-intercept, excuse me, on the y-axis. All right, our slope is negative 3/4. So because my top number is negative, that means I'll move down 3. My bottom number is positive, so right 4. So 1, 2, 3, that's down 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, right 4. Here's where my new dot goes. So I want to extend this line straight as I can all the way through the grid. All right, our last equation, y equals 2. Now, on this problem, I want you to notice there's no x. So that means our slope is 0. So basically, we could rewrite this equation as 0x plus 2. 0x plus 2. So our slope is 0, and I'm going to make it into a fraction. And our y-intercept, 0, 2. All right, so I'll start by placing my y-intercept. Now, my top number is 0. So that means I'm not going to go up or down at all. My bottom number is right 1. So I won't go up or down, but I'll go to the right 1. And you can see that's going to form a horizontal line. Make it go all the way through the grid. So y equals 2 is a horizontal line. All right, example 4. Ashley graphed the equation y equals 3/5 x minus 2 incorrectly. Describe her mistake and then draw the correct graph. So pause the video right now and see if you can figure out what Ashley's mistake was. All right, welcome back. Did you notice that Ashley placed the negative 2 in the wrong place? This negative 2 is the y-intercept, not the x-intercept. So our slope is positive 3/5. The y-intercept is 0, negative 2, and it should have been placed right here. And then she should have moved up 3 units, 1, 2, 3, positive 3, and to the right 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's the correct form of Ashley's graph. And that concludes today's lesson on graphing linear relationships written in slope-intercept form.